Good afternoon, Mark here from Mark's Garage. In the garage today, working on the Panigale V4S. What we're doing today is we are doing clip-on upgrade, one with Spider Racing, billet, 25-degree offset, clip-ons, along with Jetprime switch gear on both sides, replacing stock stuff. Want to do this upgrade for a while, so the Jetprime switches are plug and play, with the caveat that you're gonna have a little bit of extra wiring in there. You're gonna have to reroute and figure out what to do with Jetprime. Basically, the OEM switch that actually plugs in at the controls goes to this, and then we're gonna have to run it along back through here and double it around with connect it with the stock plug right here. Now this plug actually goes in the bottom of the controller, so this was kind of confusing to me. And then on the left side, there's another plug that actually goes inside here that you're going to disconnect and use, and you're going to rerun the throttle, e-throttle wiring that's going to have to come up and get disconnected in here. We have to wire all that up and set that up for the right side. And one thing with these clip-ons that I really wish I'd have known when I bought them or understood is take up a lot of space here with this junction here. It's quite beefy where the bars go into the bracket there that goes around the fork. So it's really tight with the where the master cylinder for the clutch, and I'm sure it's going to be the same way on this side, master cylinder for brake, is going to be really butted up against that bracket here, which I really wasn't crazy about. The clip-ons, as I'll show you over here, are longer than OEM, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing. So there's OEM, you're about 1 inch longer on each side, so it's going to provide some more leverage. Hopefully I can spread the bars out a little bit and make them a little bit flatter and less severe of an angle in. So hopefully that might actually make it a little bit more comfortable and give you some leverage on the bars. This bracket here, this took me a little bit to figure out too. This is for the steering damper. This actually goes underneath the clip-on, so it'll fit together kind of like that underneath the clip-ons. The diameter of the forks tapers off down there, so that's why the opening there is quite a bit smaller. This is what I was talking about. The plug for the 8-button switches normally plugs in here, underneath here, to the OEM setup. You have to take this off and disconnect it. These are kind of a pain in the butt to get off the bars. There's no screws or hardware or anything holding both of these sides on there. You have a little plastic plug with this pin that fits into the handlebar, a hole in the handlebars, and then you put this on first and slide this over, and it kind of snaps in there and keeps these controls from walking left or right or spinning around on there. Kind of a definitely a different system that Ducati uses, but once I figured it out, wasn't too hard. Stuck a little Allen wrench up in there and kind of released the tab. I'm gonna look over here. I did an unboxing already on the switch gear for the I'm going to be installed on there. I'll just show it to you once again as we go along. So here's your throttle side, the plastic throttle tube for OEM, and the grip you'll use in there, along with the electronics internal. And this puts all the electronics inside this one housing right here. So really cool setup. Looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to it anyways. We'll check back later on with the job, and if there's anything else that comes up while I'm doing this, I'll let you all know. I think we are going to have to pull off the right fairing, like I said, and get to working on that, and we'll put it back together and see what I like. If I end up not liking these clip-ons, probably what I'll do is turn around and sell them. Spider does make another set of clip-ons with that 43 degree offset that look a lot more like the factory ones, but I've seen a lot of guys switching to these. A lot of other bikes come with these as well, so hopefully we'll have some good things to say about them. Right. Here we have the setup for the steering damper bracket. See how that goes under the clip on there. Make sure that you line everything up and then you have clearance on the inside. Looks like that hole is actually for zip ties to keep the cables up off of it, which is a good thing. And make sure your bracket is as close to straight as it can be when the wheel's centered. So you got the wheel centered there. The bracket's pretty straight, like factory. So thought that's kind of cool. Here's a pretty good sneak preview of what we're going to be dealing with here and what we're looking. So far, this is my kind of draft layout here. I don't have anything tightened up or anything routed as far as the wiring goes. I got the stock throttle off, took apart the throttle housing and installed the E-throttle internals in the switches. So now you got two cables coming out the back of the billet housing there. We're going to route them around the forks. Route the switches on the left side around the forks as well, and it's going to go up tucked nicely underneath the ignition and the battery cover in front here. And then we'll start lining everything up, getting everything where we want to be. I did order myself a new remote adjuster cable because I think that one's a little too short now, having to move the brake master and the clutch master out a little bit on each side because of the clip-on mounting thing. So I'm gonna need a bigger adjuster so I can adjust these in more. I'm gonna try it set up the way that it is now. It should be fine, but I think I'm gonna get a new cable for that so I can move my clip-ons back a little bit more on both sides versus having to run them out. I do like them out like that in a more of a flatter open bar, but we'll see what happens. All right, I'll check back later. And we're getting close to wrapping up installation here, the clip-ons and the Jetprime switches. Got everything hooked up and routed, zip tied off. Ducati has these nice little rubber band type ties that are really cool. Everything's tested and working just fine. Clip-ons are still loose. Everything else on the bars is tight at this time and lined up where I want them. I just want to do one final adjustment on the angle of the clip-ons after the top clamp's on. And then got carbon work to put on, carbon battery cover and carbon interferings, and we're good to go. I'll check back with you when everything's back together and kind of give you an overview of how the switches work, and talk to you later. All right, we got everything back together, all buttoned up, everything all organized, looking nice, and I will say it looks stunning. Really awesome looking mods here on this. I like it. I love the switches, love the clip-ons. Everything's great. So I'm gonna go take a ride as soon as it stops raining and let y'all know what I think.